Hey everybody, it's Dave here from Dragonhill Games, and you're watching This Week in MTG Finance. As always, and before we get started, I want to thank MTG Stocks for allowing us to use graphical information for the purposes of this video. It's been another wild week in MTG Finance, and that mostly has to do with all of these spoilers that are getting thrown at us, between the rest of the Core Set 2021 spoilers, and then all these awesome new cards we're seeing out of Jumpstart. So let's dive right in, and we're going to start with our top 10 winners, beginning with Austere Command. Specifically, the Commander printing currently valued at $26, and this is up 101% this week. That's right, it's more than doubled its total since last week. Commander Staple hasn't had a reprint for a while. The last reprint was Iconic Masters, so it's no wonder that this is continuously climbing. And of note, the Iconic Masters version can still be picked up for under $13, so that is definitely your best bet. It's no surprise that our number 9 winner this week, Heartless Hidetsugu from Betrayers of Kamigawa, is up over 126% this week. So Heartless Hidetsugu is a 5 mana cost legendary 4/3 ogre. Now he has, whenever you tap Heartless Hidetsugu, it deals damage to each player equal to half of that player's life total rounded down. So we got a Fiery Emancipation. Now this is a spoiler from Core Set 2021. It's an enchantment, and that says if a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals triple that damage to that permanent or player instead. So basically, if we get Heartless Hidetsugu out and go ahead and are able to tap him, then you're just going to outright kill all of your opponents. A nice way to finish the game for Red in Commander for sure. Now our number 8 winner this week is kind of a funny one. Reincarnation from Legends. It's up 141% to $7.75. Now of note, there was a Commander 2013 printing because this is not on the reserve list, and you can score the Commander 2013 printing for like 30 cents. So this is definitely a printing specific spike. Now Reanimation is worded really funny. It's 3 green and 1 for an instant. If target creature is placed in a graveyard this turn, bring a creature from that graveyard directly into play under the control of the owner of the target creature. Treat this creature as though it were just summoned. So essentially what's going to happen here is you're going to go ahead and hit one of your creatures with Reincarnation. When it dies, you're going to return something awesome from your graveyard into play under your control. Now, with all of the awesome reprints we're seeing from Jumpstart, things like Reanimate are going to make decks like Golgari and Sultai Reanimator a lot cheaper to build in Commander. Our number 7 winner this week is up 152%. This is Lure of Prey from Mirage, currently valued at $6, and this thing's on the reserve list, so it's the only printing of this card. Kind of an awesome card. It actually should be a Commander staple. So 2 green and 2, we get an instant. Now we can only cast this if an opponent has successfully cast a summon spell this turn, like a creature spell. And then we go ahead and put a green creature card from our hand into play as though it were just cast. Really super awesome effect, and the reason why this is getting a ton of attention this week is because a brand new spoiler from Jumpstart, and that would be Allosaurus Shepherd. It's that 1 mana cost elves that can really buff up our elves, and it also makes it so green spells we control can't be countered. Now our number 6 winner, along with a few other cards on our list this week, are moving because of a brand new spoiler we've seen from Jumpstart, and that would be Tiny Bones, Trinket Thief. Now I'll put Tiny Bones up on the screen for you here. He's an awesome, fun new commander, really low cost commander at only 2. He's just a little 1/2 skeleton guy. Man, this guy is cute, eh? Tiny Bones, Trinket Thief. I love the name too. Anyway, at the beginning of each end step, if an opponent discarded a card this turn, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So that's a pretty normal sort of exchange for black, drawing a card and paying life for that. Now he has another awesome ability on him. You can pay 6 mana, 2 black and 4, and each opponent with no cards in hand loses 10 life. So obviously discard strategies work really well with Tiny Bones. And going back to Anvil of Bogarden, now this thing's at $35 and it's on the reserve list, and it's actually up 156% this week. So Anvil of Bogarden is just 2 mana for an artifact, and each player skips his or her discard phase, but during each player's draw phase, that player draws an additional card and then chooses and discards a card. So going back to Tiny Bones, this makes it so that his first effect happens on every turn, so you have the ability to draw cards and just pay 1 life, keeping your hand constantly full as long as you have something like Anvil of Bogarden in play. Now our number 5 winner this week, Didgeridoo, is up to $13.25. This is a 228% increase since its price last week. Another reserve list card, so the only printing was Homelands. This is the kind of card that every once in a while when a new cool Minotaur comes out, Didgeridoo kind of jumps in price. You can see over the years it's had quite a few spikes, and again, this is due to cool new Minotaurs coming out. Now Didgeridoo is a 1 mana cost artifact, and you can pay 3 and put a Minotaur from your hand directly into play Now, the reason why this is jumping this time is because of one of the brand new spoilers from Jumpstart, and that would be Sethron Herloon General. I'll put that right up here on the screen for you. It's a legendary Minotaur warrior. This guy's actually really awesome. Just 5 mana cost for a 4/4. And whenever Sethron Herloon General or another non-token Minotaur enters the battlefield under your control, you create a 2/3 red Minotaur creature. So this is the kind of thing that's just going to be creating a bunch of tokens in a Minotaur tribal deck. It's another kind of fun deck. What's what I like about these Jumpstart spoilers. Just a lot of really sort of fun new kind of commanders out here. And he also has, you can pay 2 and either a black or a red, and Minotaurs you control get +1/+0 and gain menace and haste until end of turn. So it's no wonder that cards like Didgeridoo are on the rise this week. Back to Tiny Bones for just a minute. Our number 4 winner this week, Words of Waste from Onslaught. Now, this is a really awesome card. Things at $14.50, and this is up 324% this week. So Words of Waste is an enchantment. I actually run this in my Zur Stacks deck. It's 1 black and 2 for an enchantment, and you can pay 1, and the next time you would draw a card this turn, each opponent discards a card from his or her hand instead. So basically, you're giving up your draw and forcing your opponents to each discard a card. Gonna work really awesome with Tiny Bones, considering that if we can force our opponents to discard, we're gonna be drawing a lot of cards off of Tiny Bones, and essentially we can just go ahead and make sure that their hands are all empty, giving us the upper hand and enabling us to activate Tiny Bones' second ability. Now, our number 3 winner this week, Workhorse from Exodus, currently valued at $9, and this thing's up 340% this week. Now, there's been a lot of cards that work really well in conjunction with Workhorse that have been spoiled recently. Things like Doubling Season from Double Masters, we know that we're getting that. There's been a few cards from Jumpstart that put additional counters onto things whenever you would put a counter onto it. So it's no wonder that a card like Workhorse is actually on the rise this week. Now, Workhorse is 6 mana for an artifact creature. It's a 0/0, but it enters the battlefield with 4 +1/+1 counters on it. Now, you can remove counters from Workhorse to add colorless mana to your mana pool. So this is going to work really well if we're able to have a doubling type effect, or even just an effect that's putting extra counters on Workhorse. Moving along to our number 2 winner this week, Oath of Ghouls from Exodus. Now, this is a reserve list card, so it only has a printing in Exodus, and it's currently valued at $9.75. This thing's up 347% this week. So Oath of Ghouls is an enchantment. It's just a 2-cost enchantment, and during each player's upkeep, if there are more creature cards in that player's graveyard than in target opponent's graveyard, the player may return a creature from his or her graveyard to his or her hand. Working really well and going along with the graveyard sort of reanimator theme that we talked about earlier. And our number 1 winner this week, Bottomless Pit from Stronghold, is up 909% to $5.45. That's right, this was a junk card just a week ago at like 50 cents. So this is another one, and going back to Tiny Bones, Trinket Thief for a moment, this is another one that just basically turns Tiny Bones on. For 3 mana, we get an enchantment, and during each player's upkeep, that player discards a card at random. Now, you're going to be drawing a lot of cards off of Tiny Bones, so having this affect you is not really that big of a deal, considering that you're guaranteeing to turn Tiny Bones' effect on. Now, this is not a reserve list card, so there is no reason why this might get reprinted down the road if the price continues to go into the stratosphere. All right, before we get into cards I'm investing in this week, as always, if you're a subscriber, you know I want to thank you for being here. I really appreciate your support. And if not, now's a great time to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I post at least 2 videos every week. And if you're interested in supporting this channel, I put a link for Amazon in the description of this video. And whether you're buying a new garden hose or some awesome new magic product that you just can't find at your local game store, using that link will greatly support this channel. All right, let's kick things off with Hardened Scales from Khans of Tarkir. Now, this has a couple other printings, namely Commander 2016 and a Commander Anthology printing. They're all around $7. Just a good solid investment for the future. Now, we haven't seen a reprint in Jumpstart. I'm kind of surprised it wasn't in the +1 deck, but it didn't end up making it in there. So, like I said, this is a good multi-format card, get used a lot in Commander, Pioneer, and Modern, and actually other formats as well. So really good cross-format compatible card, which is what we like to see in investments for the future. And Hardened Scales at $7 is definitely a safe play with a lot of growth potential. And the next one I have for you guys this week is Quest for the Nihil Stone. Now, this is only one printing in Worldwake, so that's definitely a good sign. We haven't seen a reprint in Jumpstart or Core Set 2021. There's a lot of attention and focus on discard right now, and Quest for the Nihil fits into any really good discard commander theme for sure. For just 1 mana, we're getting an enchantment. Whenever an opponent discards a card, you may put a quest counter on Quest for the Nihil Stone. And at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has no cards in hand and Quest for the Nihil Stone has 2 or more quest counters on it, you may have that player lose 5 life. Really awesome in discard strategies, that is to be sure. Card's been on a slow and steady increase. Like I said, no reprints in the upcoming set, so this is a great bet going forward. And last but not least, we have our speculation play for this week. That's right, it's Dark Deal from Fate Reforged. Now, this is just an uncommon, but it's currently valued around $1.20. Card's been on a slow and steady increase. Been a long time since Fate Reforged was printed. It has no other printings. Now, Dark Deal is a sorcery for 1 black and 2. Each player discards all the cards in his or her hand and then draws that many cards -1. Black wheel effects aren't super common. And again, Tiny Bones is getting a ton of attention right now. This slots right into that deck. Regardless of that fact, it's just one of those cards that's going to continue to increase. All right, I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode of This Week in MTG Finance. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button. It really helps me out. I've got a lot of box opening videos coming up this week for Core Set 2021, so make sure you check those out. All right, we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.